Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me for this exciting video of what is going on with our RV.
It's gonna be a good one.
I don't know what you mean by good one, but it's gonna be something.
We're gonna learn together, let's just say that.
So you're probably wondering why we haven't worked on the RV. Well, the thumbnail should have explained it to you, but there's something going on with this RV right now that has put all those basement renovations and all the repairs we had to do on pause because this situation is much bigger than all those.
If you've been paying attention to YouTube in the RVing space, you might notice a lot of people are talking about the dreaded RV frame flex.
You guys may have noticed on our way home that we were coming back to Texas and we decided not to stay our last night and go ahead and get here. Well, there was a little bit of more of a motive for that, and that's because our last two moves, we started to notice things on the RV were changing. So let me go inside and show you the first things that clued us in that there's something going on with this trailer.
Welcome to our bedroom.
And the first place we started to notice things weren't exactly right. More specifically, after every move, we would come in here and things had moved or shifted. And the first telltale sign was this floor right here. This floor in 3 years has never made a noise, but we have some movement of the floor when we step on it. And that was the first thing we noticed because we've never had the floor have that kind of like bowed warp effect. Like when you step on the middle, you see one of the sides kind of pop up. Well, that's happening. But the second and third and fourth and fifth and all the rest of the things that made us notice this are in this room. Like right here. We started to see there was weird gaps right here in this corner right here. And then as you come down here, you can almost put a whole finger inside the gap between the wall and the wall. This also right here keeps pulling apart every time we move. And then you come over here to the middle of the closet. That was not loose. And you can see right here, all this right here has changed. It's moved. It's not where it used to be. And right here, you can see that there's a gap between the ceiling and the wall. And you can see it's moved because it has a stain where it used to be, and you can see where it is now.
Also on the side of the dresser, this wall kept bowing out, so Kevin's just been like using little nails to kind of put that back. We never really thought much of that until now.
And then the washer and dryer. The door has opened every single time, but every time we move, we cannot close the door until we come back in and push the washer and dryer back into its spot. Yeah. And you can see down here, every one of these screws comes out every time. I've put those back in after every move, and when we get done, things are different. This whole space has shifted. It's just weird. Things are going on.
Right. We also find things like this often. This was after our move. We found this in our bed. Not quite sure where that went to, but
it's also rusty, which means there's been water.
Right, which is equally terrifying, but where did it come from?
We also have this right here. I don't know what this is, but like it looks like the floor is like or the wall shifted. That's just the wallpaper, but something made it do that. And then inside of our closet right here in the corner, so right here in the corner of our closet, you can see that all these trim pieces, they've shifted some. They're not where they're supposed to be, and they're all coming apart. And the same thing is going for the top up here. All that right there is sort of moving on us. And once we notice these, you find another one?
Look, I found a new problem just now. Look at this.
All that trim. So basically, everything in our master bedroom, the last two moves, when we set it down, we find new things that are not where they're supposed to be, and they found a new home. And that got us doing the Google research, and that led us to think that we have frame flex. But now that we know what we might have, we started looking other places, and guess what? I found things outside that are showing that there's indication that things are moving when we're hooked up. Let's go outside and show you those. Okay, so the first thing that I noticed, actually Alicia noticed, this is our basement. And above it is our window to our bathroom. And Alicia said she sees light coming from the floor.
Yeah, so if the basement light is on and I'm inside, I can see a light along the trim where the wall meets the floor. And it seems to be growing a little bit, so.
So where that is right here. All these screws have been backing out, and now we have some that are actually broken and the heads are broken off. But that right there, we started tightening that up, and after one move, they're all backed out again and some are broken off. So that right there is definitely shifting, and it's not so good.
Scary.
The next thing, I opened up the propane bay on this side. This is the front door side. And I noticed all this right here. I can see and put my hand between this front cover and the frame.
Whoa.
Yeah, all the way up here. You see it? It's coming apart. And up here you can see there's the frame stuff, and there's no apparent broken welds or anything. But all this out here, this is moving for a reason. I see daylight right there to the other side. And that's because I have my front basement door open. And I'll show you how things look ugly in there. Because this is the first thing I noticed when I was packing up for our last trip. When I was putting all the stuff in here, I looked over here.
Here, I'll hold it.
And you can see that's the outside wall. Look at this wall move. Like, that's not even connected to the frame of the RV anymore. You see all that?
It's moving so much out here.
Yeah, look at it. It's not even connected to anything anymore. It's just basically sitting there. And it's just as bad. Like right here, I saw this, like there's a gap. You can see, like, I can pull this apart, almost like it's coming apart. You can also see welds in here, and I can't see any that are broken, but there's definitely, see that right there? That's where I hang stuff, and it's moving. Like, the whole wall is moving.
How has stuff not crashed down on us with all this movement? Like, this is just our hand. Imagine going down the road and all the bumps and the joints. Like, it's scary.
All right, let's go back over to the driver's side of the truck and look at the propane tank. It's also happening over here. It's not as bad, but you can see
Oh my God.
it's already separated at all the spots. The front piece, by the way, that front piece is called a phylon. I learned that. It's a technical term I've learned. This whole front thing right here is called the phylon, and it's basically not really connected to the rest of the RV anymore. It's just kind of floating. And a lot of people have said that one of the indications of frame flex is you start to see this seam right here. You'll see this seam is moved. Well, it doesn't look as our seam is moved right there, but you come on the inside and you can see things have been moving. We have no more seal right there. We also have it over here. You can see that things have been moving right here in the corner. See all that? That's not connected anymore. So all this right here, there's like the whole thing. Look, Alicia.
Yeah.
It's all broken right there.
And we've had this trim piece keep coming out, and we just thought it was weather related, like it's just shrinking and expanding, and that's also another indication that there might be some frame flex. So that's happened for a while.
And then this right here, you can tell that's moved some. So clearly what we think is this side is probably the problem, and this is also the washing machine side, and where most of the problems are happening. But clearly there's something happening on all of it. So that's why you haven't seen us fix anything on this RV yet, because we don't know how big or small of a problem this is going to be, but it definitely is a problem we need to address. And since we found it, we've actually reached out to Grand Design, and we've learned a few things. One, we're out of warranty. We were out of warranty when we bought it. And two, we're the second owner, which basically means they don't have to do anything if they don't want to. But right now they are providing assistance, and they want us to do a frame flex measurement test to find out how bad it is. So today we're going to follow their instructions and do the frame flex measurement test to find out just how much it actually is moving. How this goes, we need to take two measurements, one with the trailer sitting on the jacks and one with the trailer sitting on the truck and the weight on the truck. So we take a measurement from this right here, the corner, all the way to this corner right here. And then we write that number down. We do it for both sides. And then when we set the weight on the truck, we take that same measurement. And ideally it stays the same. But if there's frame flex, that number gets bigger because the trailer does this. So that's what we're gonna do today. Really, the test says you're supposed to go to the I-beam flange, but since we can't get to that, we were told to choose the phylon where it meets the vertical wall. So as long as you measure the same spot, the measurement shouldn't change because it's the same point in space. So we're gonna put tape where we measure so that we know we're measuring the same spot.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, that's trusty. But the thing is if this truly is a frame flex, let me see it. When we set it down, this gap right here should get really big, and then we'll know we're actually moving a lot. But I don't think it takes a lot of movement to say that you have frame flex. And then we're gonna come over here, and we're technically supposed to be up here at this weld, which we kind of can do. Well, that's
supposed to be there.
This is just a cover that moves. It doesn't actually do anything.
Okay.
So we're gonna try to go as close to that corner as we can. Just make sure we're in the same spot.
Okay.
reference points. So they call this the door side, and they call the other side the off door side. So we're gonna start with the door side. We're gonna call that 76 inches. All right, now we're gonna do the off door side. Good news, guys. When it's on the jacks, they're both 76 inches. So at least it's not flexing right now. All right, next step, we need to go ahead and get the slides in and get this thing hooked up to the truck, and then we'll find out just how much the frame is flexing when we set the weight down on the truck. You like what I've done with my tailgate? It's a new modification I'm trying out. It's the tailgateless option.
I don't like it. I like the tailgate on.
Yeah, we have to take the tailgate off, that way we can get a good measurement, because we have to go from there to there, and when the tailgate's in the way, the tape measure doesn't go from there to there, at least not straight.
Glad you got it off. It wasn't that hard once you figured out what you had to do.
Yeah, Ford decided to put 4 plugs on it for that one camera we have, so it took a while to figure out how to unplug them and get them out there without breaking them. Now we're gonna set the weight down on the RV. Alicia's going inside to witness it from the inside.
I am.
By the way, it's the first time we were gonna be on the inside when it happens, so it could be very exciting because we've never thought to go inside when it's on the truck to see what's happening.
So what should I film when I'm in there?
Your whole interactions, but all the parts of the walls that move.
I'm okay to get on the bed.
Oh yeah,
right?
be on the bed and
Okay.
film everything and just tell them what you see.
I hope I don't see a lot, but suspicion tells me I'm gonna see a lot.
100% that floor is gonna start creaking whenever we sit down.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna walk on it so that you guys can hear and see what we were seeing, because it's pretty scary.
And while she's on the inside, when I set the weight down, I'm gonna record us setting the weight down, and I'm gonna show you all the things out here that change. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. We're gonna set the weight down and see what things move and what things don't move. Coming down, coming down. There we go. We technically have all the weight off now, and here's what we look like. So right now we can see right here, this right here has definitely changed, and you can see the seam right here. That's being pulled. None of these seams look terrible, or no worse than they were. In here, I wouldn't say it's any different. Right there, that's changed. Like this comes out now. Before you had to peel it out, now it just falls out. You can see there's separation right there. All this right here is now basically being pulled apart. Yeah, that's real bad right there. On the outside, I just don't know. It looks like it's there, but I'd be willing to bet it's probably moving. So let's go see what Alicia found.
All right, so I am in our room. I am going to focus on this corner over here. Then we'll go down to the floor. Oh my gosh. Can y'all hear that? That is super sketch. Holy cow. Oh yeah, look what it did right here. It pulled the tape off. So that tape was here when we bought it from the previous owner, but it's definitely moved it. Look. Oh yeah, this is definitely way more movie. Look at this wall. It's like it's not even attached. Look at this. Can y'all hear that? Oh my God, it sounds like it's moving so much. Okay, let's go check out the floor. Okay, so I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear this, but just listen when I step on it. Can y'all hear that? It's so sketch being in here when that happens.
So what all moved?
So look at this.
Whoa, that looks like it's bowing.
Look at this.
Look at the corner up here from my angle. The roof bows over.
Oh my gosh.
Did this gap get any bigger over there?
Yeah, look at this.
Whoa.
It's like it's not even attached.
Look at this one. There's stuff right there that's not happy.
Oh my God, look at this. That's broken. Really not good. I also want to go check the crack that I always see the light coming through at night. Let me go see. So sometimes it's right here behind the door, right on that line. is where I will see light coming in, but also out here in the hallway. Let me move the basket. Along this seam here. Oh, and look here. This is new. Oh yeah, and there's definitely been movement here. Look at the white. So I usually see a beam of light coming through here, and it's been much bigger the past couple moves than it normally has been. So this isn't looking good. This is actually terrifying to me because this is our home, and you just have all these thoughts that go through your head of the what ifs, and this is our home. Like, we don't have another home. So it's super scary, but we'll get it fixed, hopefully. This makes me very nervous. Okay, I'm gonna sign off here because I have a lot going through my head and you probably don't want to see all that. So hopefully the outside looks a little better. I'm sure Kevin is filling y'all in now, but let's go out and join him.
Let's go check out our propane area and our wall out here to see if our gap got any bigger. All right, yeah, for sure. There is movement there. That's definitely gotten bigger. That's definitely moved. Now I guess we'll take some measurements and just see how much it actually did move. Also, I don't know if you guys can see this, but you see that part right there that the bolts are on? You see how kind of like it feels like it's cocked at an angle, like it's shooting kind of like upwards? So there's something there because that is actually square or perpendicular to this place right here when there's no load on it. Now it appears as though there's been some sort of shift kind of that way when we took the weight, because now there's more space right here between that top bolt and the pylon, because when you set it back down, that shifts back to I guess parallel. I don't know if y'all can see that, but those are usually parallel to the ground, and right now they're definitely tilted. And you can see right here, our pin box and our fifth wheel plate is kind of at an upward angle. It's not flat anymore, so it's kind of got a little bit of angle on it. And it's always been pretty well flat as far as that bottom plate where the pin box is and the top of the fifth wheel. That's usually pretty flat. Right now it's kind of got a tilt like that as well, which shows us back here because that's tilting as well. It just kind of cocked everything up that way. All right, we're gonna do our measurements with it on the truck. We're gonna start with the door side. Here you go. They got this trailer and truck in the way now, so it's a little harder.
A little loose, okay.
All right, you got it?
Yep.
We are reading 76.5 inches. So it's a ½ inch bigger when the weight's on the truck. And now we're gonna measure the off door side. That's interesting, it's still 76 inches. So that tells us there's actually not a big problem on that side, but the problem's right here on this side.
Which is exactly what we thought.
So one side is moving and one side isn't. The side that has the most things happening to it is growing by ½ inch. Okay, so we're gonna take the weight off and I'm gonna film the pin box and how the angle is changing, and she's gonna film right here because this is a gap right here that's gonna close itself up when she lets down. I don't know why I gave you a thumbs up. This is not a thumbs up situation.
Here, let me edit that for you. I think this is a thumbs down situation, unfortunately. But maybe it's not as big of a deal as it seems to be. That's all I can keep hoping and praying for.
Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready. All right, so we're watching this right here. All the creaking is just super sketch. Like, I don't know about this, but the noises I heard coming from inside, it's not good.
All right, so that gap really didn't change, but it's probably because the wall's not hooked to the wall anymore. But hopefully you guys saw how much that moved as we took weight off. So there wasn't a gap right there, and now there is, and you can see that this is more level. When I set it down, it kind of all cocks that way. The hardest part of this whole job was putting the tailgate back on the truck.
I think it was your assistant's fault. I don't think I'm properly qualified for this.
So I didn't think the tailgate was gonna be so hard to put on, except for one thing. If you have a truck that has the auto tailgate down, guess what happens when you're trying to put it on? So when you're trying to line up the spring right here, you have it in the vertical position. Well, if you let the vertical position touch this right there,
Click, click.
it latches the tailgate.
It's locked.
Do you know what it takes to get the tailgate unlatched? You have to feed all 4 wires through this hole right here while she holds the tailgate from falling on you. Plug them back in, which is a lot harder than taking them out, just to unlock that so you can get it lined back up and get the spring stab. So we didn't have the spring stab, but it latched right here when we were trying to line it up. And we just spent entirely too long trying to put a tailgate on a truck.
We certainly did, but it didn't fall on us and it didn't get damaged, and it's back in working order, so easy now.
Oh, it's okay, you can be rough on this. That thing right there though couldn't handle it.
This is true.
So now that we've taken our measurements, is that good or bad? We actually don't know the answer if 1/2 inch is bad. We also know this is not the most precise way of measuring. It's just to get a rough estimate of what is happening, because in the real world, we're gonna pull the file line off, we're going to the I-beam, to the actual weldment it says, and then we would get a very exact measurement. But just the tape measure shows that we're getting 1/2 inch of movement. Now I have read on all the owner groups and the forums online, everyone's had this problem, says 1/2 inch is where they call it bad and it needs to be fixed. We don't know if it's bad, but we do know things are happening. And now we're gonna take all this information, we're gonna forward it to our contact at Grain Design, and we're gonna see what happens next, because we actually don't know what happens next. We can only speculate on what might have to happen, but we're gonna let Grain Design tell us what we need to do, because we need to get this thing fixed. We still have states to see, and we can't do it with all that happening right there.
Yeah, we don't want it to break while we're on the road, but also we wanted to document this because there isn't a clear answer online anywhere. Like, I've looked through YouTube videos, I've looked on the forums, I've looked on the Facebook groups, everything, and I can't find anybody who's filmed it from start to finish. Like, what is step 1 versus where do we go next? So that's why we wanted to film this. We don't have all the answers just yet, but hopefully they'll be coming soon.
That's also why you haven't seen any of the basement renovation or any of the things we need to fix, because we kind of feel like the frame is more important than all that, and we don't want to do a whole bunch of work in the basement area knowing that they may have to remove some of that to get access to where they have to fix things.
Right, so those will be postponed until we know more.
So for now, you know as much as we do. We've got some things going on. We're letting the people that know more than we do tell us what to do next. And then when that happens, you guys will come along for the ride and get to see how we make that stop having that problem.
I would also like to know, has anyone else experienced this, like see some movements inside and out, and was it not considered frame flex, or was it actually a big deal? Like, in my mind, I still have hope that maybe this isn't a huge deal, and I want to hear from you. Did you have some movement and it ended up not being a big deal at all?
Hopefully we will get to fixing this RV and get back on the road sooner than later. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you in the next one.